Hello everyone, welcome back to Apex Servers, and this is Ravan Lingam. So we are in a series of MuleSoft sessions for Salesforce developers. And today we are going to discuss further about RAML. So before getting started, let's quickly go ahead. You know about me, Shravan Lingam. I'm going to skip this slide because we have seen 3 sessions already. And today's agenda is, as usual, we will do a recap of our previous session, and we will do RAML continuation. Probably this is the last session for RAML. Again, I said like RAML is like a vast topic which we need to cover, but I am trying to cover the important topics that you will be using on a daily basis, on your real-time projects. So I will try to explain about using hash, exclamatory include. I think I have already explained in the previous session, and what is types, resource types versus traits, and small validations, and how to use mock URL and how to publish to Exchange. I think even publish to Exchange I have explained a lot in the previous session. And coming to raml.org, that is one of the best sites where you can learn about RAML, about like more topics. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can always refer to this website. Now, without wasting time, let's discuss about the recap of our previous session. So we have discussed what is API specification and what is design center of Anypoint platform, and then we have seen like creating an API specification using RAML. I told you there is another way of writing to write API spec, that is OAS, but in this session we will be covering with we will be going with RAML. And we have also discussed about what is resource, request, response, status codes, etc. And we have seen how to publish a RAML and how it can be available in the Exchange. And now coming to our current topic, when and how to use our resource types. Again guys, whenever you try to, you might not be able to relate or correlate because you are getting started, but once you start your real-time projects, or if you start your hands-on or coding, you will get to know the importance of these topics. So for now, try to understand the concept, why we are using for any concept here, not only in MuleSoft, in any technology, or if whatever you are learning, please try to understand why we are using, then that will help you to understand the importance of that topic. Okay, so for now, concentrate on why we are using this, or what are resource types, for example. Okay, so resource types are nothing but they refer to a way to define reusable templates or blueprints for different types of resources in your API. Again, I have explained you about what are resources in our previous session. For example, you are developing like 10 APIs for 10 different use cases. Okay, and if you feel that, again I am generalizing the explanation, so try to understand in an easier way. In those 10 APIs, if you feel that there is a common functionality among all those APIs, right? So in that case, you don't have to write again and again the same code. Okay, that is the concept of resource types now. So what you can do is you can define resource type once and then reuse the same in different APIs, or in the same APIs whenever you feel that there is a common functionality. So that is what like reusable templates mean. For example, in real-time example, there is a function where you need to use add function, add between two numbers. Okay, and you feel that this particular functionality is being called by different methods or different APIs. Do you go ahead and write every time a plus b, a plus b, a plus b? No, we don't have to write that. So we write once, we define it as a function, or we will assign it a name to it, and we will use that name every time wherever needed. The same thing it happens here. So we will be seeing in the hands-on how to use it, but to understand, it is like a reusable template for you. Then, so think of them like a set of instructions. That's what I told, like think of them like a set of instruction that you can use to create a consistent and standardized resource definitions. Okay, but again, whenever there is a concept of reusing it, you will define resource type. But if there is no use of reuse of any functionality or code, then you won't define it. It is not mandatory to do it, but it is always best practice to do it. So resource types of more if you ask me, like someone, if there is like a functionality where it is being used in two APIs, do you still want me to use resource type? there is no need to use resource type. But still, what is the purpose of writing the same code again and again? That's why I'm calling it as a best practice to use it. Now, again I said, as I informed below, informed before, used for best practice to avoid writing code again and again. Okay, and resource types use some user defined parameters which are surrounded by double angle brackets. So I will show you in the hands-on, but usually whenever you feel like, most of the part is common, but if there is one field different from each other, then you can define them in the double angle brackets, and then you can define those values in at the resource level. Let me show you that in the hands-on part. Okay, so if you are mentioning like this, resource path within double angle brackets, then it represents the entire URI, not the URL. Okay, there's a difference between URI and URL. URL is the whole URL with the host and all. And resource path name, if you define like resource path name, then it represents the part of URI. Okay, the oath of URI, like following from rightmost forward slash. I will show you in the example. For example, and there are some parameter functions. For example, like you can use singularize, pluralize, uppercase. All these functions are user defined. Okay, so for example, now given the resource name as /health, where resource path name evaluates to health. For example, if you are defining the resource name as /health, just we have seen observed in our previous example bbc.com, like if you have sports news /sports, then the resource path name will resolve to only health. And if you are using resource path name like uppercase, like you can see the previous parameter functions. For example, if you use the combination of this both, what it will do, it will convert into health. What it is used for, you can see in the hands-on part. Now let me stop here presenting and let me go back to our design center. Okay, let me go back to the design center here. Yep. So not what I will try to do is I will try to create a small resource type. So how to use it first? So this is what we have seen in the last session, that we have created two resources with two different methods, get account summary and create account. Now I wanted to show you the example of resource type. Assume that you are developing like 10 different APIs. Means this is like one API, like banks API is one API, and you might be, I have shown you in the API led connectivity approach, we have like different APIs to connect with different systems. For example, so if you're connecting with Salesforce, you will create another sys API, right? Assume that all APIs, there is a standard that we need to follow to provide the health check of that API. What is a health check? It is very simple. Health check is nothing but we are going to create a new resource with name health, for example, like this. And what should it return? It should just return basic, you can put like get method, and then you can just define the response directly like 200, and you can define the timestamp, maybe like time. Okay, just whatever it is, 8:35 p.m. For now I'm not going to define in specific, and health is okay. For example, if I am using like this, right? So what you can do is, so what is the purpose of using this is just to check whether your API is up and running. Okay, so this is the important. So it is giving out error, so you should always check why it is giving error. It is saying like time is not supported in RAML 1.0 because I am missing something. Okay, before even giving the example, I have to tell that it is an example, right? So I have to remove this. Okay, so that's why indentation, and you have to follow this one, body, then application JSON, because I am writing in a JSON format, example, and you can define it. Now it is not giving error. So what you can do, you can have this health function. Okay, whenever you hit, click on try it, whenever you hit this endpoint health, here you can see your endpoint is like health. Whenever you hit it, it will give the current timestamp value. here and it says health is okay. That means your API is up and running. There is no problem with your API. Now imagine the same line of codes, you have to write it in 10 different APIs. So do you really need writing this, at least like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 lines of code every time? No, not necessarily. So what you have to do, see what I'm going to do. I said like we have to define resource type. So the syntax for defining resource type is always, it is best practice to define. Usually resource types are externalized, so that is like advanced RAML, but for here in this purpose I am going to explain of how to create resource type in the same RAML. Okay, so I have to, again, even before doing this, you can see in our suggestions there will be like resource types, where it is in the types and traits column. Okay, so I will click on resource types. Then you have to give some name to that resource type so that you can reuse again and again wherever you want. Okay, so I want to name that as health check. Okay, I'll just name it as health check. You can write anything, like you can name it and you can I can write, for example, Shravan for now. Okay, so I can use it anywhere, but I have to use some best standard, so I'm just using health check. So health check, enter. So what we have written before, you have to do the same process, get. Okay, next responses, I want only 200, then body, then application JSON. Okay, and then example, and you can paste whatever you have given. Okay, now you can see in my summary, as soon as like we type something, I told you, right, it will be appearing over here. You can see there is no health check here. Why? Because that is not a resource. Resource is something which will start with / followed by some unique name. Here I am not starting with a /. These are resource types. So I am defining some set of instructions. That was that's what I have explained you here. So let me go back. So here I told like these are, think of them like a set of instructions that you can use. So think of them like a set of instructions and you can use it. Now how to use this resource type is a question. Now I told you, like for any API, if you want to have something, you need to define a resource. Okay, now let me put health should be very at the first as per the best standards. So what I have to define a resource, so I will use the name health. For that, health check is different, this is different, so this is health. Okay, and I'm putting colon. You can see automatically it is appearing over here. The next step, as I have explained you in the previous session, it will start with a resource. This is resource name. Next, the type of method. I don't want to define now everything like this. Okay, I don't want to, even because I have already written this code, I have to reuse this one. What I will do here, I will choose this option type here and type. When I choose type, automatically you can see whatever you have written here, the name, it will show you the suggestions, what kind of type we can reuse. Now if I click on health check, now we can see automatically the get method or all this time and health are appearing, just because I have reused this resource type using this name. Now again, with very simpler words, just you can define resource types, that is the syntax. Then give your own name, consider it like a function or a set of instructions, give it a name, then define your whatever you want here and just reuse it. Now shall I show you something else? So I will say like one more health. Okay, I am defining one more health. Okay, I'll go to the summary here. You can say one more health. Again, if I want to use the same functionality, I can just use type and health check. Okay, again you can see the same code written here. So what is happening here, I have written this set of instructions or set of code once, but I am reusing it multiple times. So if I am not having this resource type, imagine 8 plus 8 lines, 16 lines are extra for me, right? So that is why I'm saying like this is the best practice to use it. Usually we won't use resource types in two different resource types in the same place, but you can always use it. For example, if you want to use, like if you feel like this is one health check and this is another health check, and there is some you want to define, like at least the description should be different for both of them. So what to do here? Again, it is always best practice, guys. I haven't explained here, but you can see get account summary. I have displayed description here. So when you click on this get description, it should show you the to get the bank details and all. It should show the description over there, what needs to be, why it is being used in the summary. Okay, it will show in the exchange. So one more health check. Let me go back, summary, get account summary. Okay, let me turn back to the summary here. I will show you something else. Okay, so now what I will do is, as we have seen, like we can use these angular brackets, correct? I will show you what are these angular brackets over here. Now get here, I can still add a description over here, and I will say like this is to get blah blah. Okay, so resource path name. Okay, and if you want, so first I will show you this one. Okay, this is to get resource path name. Okay, so whenever I am using like angular brackets, okay, get resource, this is to get resource path name. Whenever we are defining something, it is mandatory that you have to use you have to define that parameter over here. Okay, so now what I am going to do is type, you can use the same thing, I'm just copy pasting as I wanted to have it in a single line. So you have to open the parenthesis, put health check, again colon. Okay, so you can like give me a second. What you can do is, there is no need to even define because resource path name is by default a function. Okay, let me remove this, just put health check here. Let me remove okay, this is because of the indentation. Okay, now you see everything has gone. Now going back to this, it should ideally show the description over here. Why am I not getting the description? Pay order details. Yeah, can you see here? Sorry, my bad. So can you see here? It is get health. Did you write anything get health here? No, because in description I am defining some user defined functions like this, so that in the description it can show like get uppercase, it is health because I am using uppercase. Okay, and here for health it is saying get health, but here for one more health it should show the different value. So if you go to one more health and click on get, can you see here, get one more health, everything is in the uppercase. So that is the use of defining this kind of values here. Okay, so for description, any kind of description, if you want to do it, you can make use of this angular braces. So this is about resource types. Again, you can deep dive into this topic at raml.org. You can always visit and find some good examples. So for now, please understand that this is kind of reusing things. Okay, and again you might have observed resource type we have defined right from the whole method level. Okay, like you have defined a method, description, request, response, everything. Okay, that is resource type. But why we are going to use traits, that is our next topic. Let's go. So coming back to, so we have discussed about resource types, we have seen this example. Now when and how to use traits. Traits are kind of a resource types. Okay, you can say like traits are kind of a resource types. So understand this way. Okay, resource types are used to extract the pattern from the resource definitions, like resource levels. the whole resource level. When I say resource level, the resource, the method, request, response, all three combination. Whereas traits are used to extract the patterns from the method level. Okay, what is there inside a method? It's like request and response. Okay, so that are common across the resource. That is the difference between traits and resource types. So resource types are at the resource level and traits are at the method level. In simpler terms, traits are defined to use whenever there is a common functionality need to be implemented across more than one method at least, because if there is no reason of you reusing the same functionality, why will we create traits, right? So you at least it should have at least more than one method which has common functionality. Okay, so without wasting time, we can go to hands-on and see how to do this. So coming back, how to define traits. Again, for everything I told you, like we have to understand why we are using, what is the purpose of using whatever topic we are discussing. So we have discussed the purpose of resource type and we have seen the syntax. Now we know the purpose of traits and we have to define syntax. Any syntaxes or any kind of resource types, traits, you have to define it at the starting of your RAML. That is the best practice. Okay, so now coming back to traits, how to define traits. Again, if you go to the first place, automatically in the types and traits it is showing three types, like annotation types, traits and types. Okay, so I will click. It is not showing resource types again because resource types is already defined here. Okay, if you want to create more than one resource type, you can create here, like like Shravan. I will give my own name, for example. Then you can give your method like get, whatever it is. Okay, and what you can do is just wanted to show you like summary here. Here you can use Shravan, which is like empty, it's doing nothing. So if you go to one more health, you can see there's nothing that is showing over here. Okay, so that is the concept of defining more than one resource types. So now I wanted to remove this, and let me remove even the one more health here, which is not necessary, that I have shown you just for your understanding purpose. Now let us define traits. Again, I told like resources are at resource level. Resource level means, for example, here this is resource, right? This is resource. So this is resource level, means which means it contains method and everything. But traits are at method level. So if you observe here, what are method level? Method contains all this request and response, only both. Okay, now assume that you have a functionality, like for example you have a bank portal where you have to log in, or to use any kind of like to get account summary or create account, you will have some login mechanism, you have some login methods. What are the general use case of using what are the general parameters that we use for logging? Username and password, correct? So let me first define traits. Okay, you can click on traits. Then you should always, again, like whenever you are using resource types or traits, you have to define some name, you have to give some name so that we can reuse it. Okay, for now what I'm doing is type of verification. I can give my own name. Okay, type of verification colon. Now I told you that traits you cannot define here. Previously in resource types, when I clicked on enter after health check, it showed me the methods, but here it will not show the methods because now we are defining at method level itself. So what I will do is I will use like query parameters, and I will say like I need username, which is a string, and password, which is another string. Okay, so what I'm trying to use for any kind of if you want to use any kind of this resource name, you have to use basically at least username and password are required to log in. For now you can see get, if you try it, there is only account number. If you pass account number, you are getting the response, right? If you send it, you are getting the response. But now I don't want it to have like direct one. Okay, I need some, you are getting the response. Now I wanted to add the authentication to it. So what I can do, already there is type in the query parameters, I have defined account number, right? So next what you can do is click on enter, or I can do this here. Again, To use this particular traits, we have to use another syntax called is keyword. So how to use it? Click on enter. Okay, if you go a step back, okay, in the query parameters, because it should be in this line, because here I am defining query parameters, so it should be in the same line. So here if you click, there is a keyword called is. Okay, click on is, automatically it will show you in the suggestions like to use type of verification. Now see what is happening. Earlier there was only account number, but username and password added to your request. Okay, so this is how you can make use of traits. So very simple, traits, then define some name, and what are the parameter. It is not necessarily that it should be only query parameters, it can be a body, it can be anything. Okay, your request or response, anything. For now, for this example, I have shown you like you have to use username and password. Now just see here, if I am removing this, automatically now there is only account number to use it. Okay, but if I am like adding this, you can see automatically it is showing here. Now to get the account summary details, not only the account number, you have to pass username and password. Okay, and then only if you click send, it will give you success response 200. What if I am not passing any password, for example? So this is how you have to disable and send it. It will say like 400 bad request and saying like required parameter password is missing, so you have to pass password. Okay, now here what is the use of using traits? Because like I am adding only in get account summary, so what is the reuse here? No, right? So that means, for example, there is another method called create account. Okay, if you go to post method, here also you are sending name and date of birth. Okay, and let me try it. Okay, it is already there here, so give me a second, try it. Okay, if you send it with name and date of birth, it is creating an account. Okay, account created. But now I told you like whenever you want to use any kind of resource for banking application, we should pass username and password. So how to pass it? Again, there is like branch here, you can see here branch like ABC, you can send it and send it, it will work. Now I want to add the same authentication here. What I have to do? Same thing, you have to be at the root level of query parameters. Click on is to use the traits, and you can use this type of verification. Automatically here username and password are added. Now along with the branch name, you have to pass username and password. Okay, and send it. Now the account is created. What if you are not passing username here? Now in this case it will say 400 bad request because required parameter username is missing. So that is the use of this traits. So because traits are more kind of like method level, and you can use it wherever you want. One more small trick I wanted to tell. Now imagine there is a use case that you have to use the third type of authentication, like along with username and password you want to add one more level of authentication, like either mobile OTP or email OTP. Okay, that is the use case. But how to do that? Because like for there is a scenario where for get account summary you should have mobile OTP, for creating an account you should have email OTP. So how to use? I cannot use traits now. For example, if I want to write like mobile OTP here and define it like string, what will happen? I will go to get account summary, click on get. Here it is saying like if I want to try it, sometimes this will create some different kind of UI, but try to try it. So account, username, password, mobile OTP, this is fine for get account summary, but I don't want to get, because like account is not created, first I need an email. But here you can see it is still asking mobile OTP over here, right? I don't want that. I want email OTP for create account. So how to do that? Now see the magic. Instead of defining some value directly, you can use the concept of angular braces here. Okay, type of OTP. Okay, Now you can see it is changing something, right? So what you can do is here, when you have defined this, you have to define this value at resource level. This is why it is giving error over here, because I added some third type which should be defined at the traits here. Okay, how to define it? Very simple. Just make sure the syntax are correct. Open the curly braces or parenthesis, colon, again open it and close it. Two brackets open, two brackets closed, and inside you have whatever name you are giving, right here, type of OTP, copy it. So type of OTP, define that name here, mobile OTP. Okay, now you can see it will automatically try to extract the value. It will take some time for you, but this is how you can write, for example. Okay, let me go to the documentation summary. It is giving some error. Let's see what is that error. Okay, it is showing still the error because of here. Okay, now what I will do, I will copy the same thing. Okay, then I will paste it like this and say email OTP. Let me remove this. Okay, now if you see the difference, for if you go to summary, get, try it. Some guys, you might see this kind of discrepancies in the UI, like sometimes you don't find try it option. So whenever you don't find it, always try to do like this. Go to documentation, summary. Okay, if you don't, go to this value. Now you are seeing try it here. If you don't see try it, just click on this icon, documentation, and try it again. Now you can see here, username, password, mobile OTP for get account summary, and for create account you can see email OTP. So that's how we can differentiate if there is any change of one field. So here you can see username, and what we are doing, username and password are common, but only one field might be different. In such scenario, you can use the Angular braces to define a different kind of custom type. Okay, so this is how you can define the resource types and traits. Okay, I hope you understood. Again, if you put your hands on laptop and practice, then only you will be getting all this. Just by watching the videos, it will never help. Okay, because you will try to do hands-on, you will get mistakes, you will get errors. That's how you learn. All right, so coming back to our hands-on. Okay, this hands-on part is completed. So first, what is the purpose? As I said, like we need to first identify the redundant, means repeated section of our resources, recognize these patterns. When I'm telling you the purpose of using resource types and traits. I told you, like whenever we are learning something, please understand the purpose and resource types. So we need to identify the redundant or repeated or common sections of our resources, recognize their patterns. Okay, patterns is something like request, response, etc., and extract the resource type, means define the resource types. Then should do the same for the methods that are common across resources to extract the traits. Then we will be able to eliminate further redundancy or repeated code by applying traits to our resource types. To summarize, we use resource type and traits to eliminate writing the same code repeatedly. Instead, write once and use it across. All right, now we will be seeing a small hands-on on defining a schema using data types. Okay, again I will try to explain you the structure of JSON when it comes to data weave section, but for now try to understand, like JSON is a combination of array and objects. So array of objects means something like let me JSON lint, I will show you very quickly. So there is a structure for JSON which will have always a key value pair within a curved braces. Okay, so you can see here we can define name. Again I will be explaining this in detail in data weave section, what is an object or what isn't. This is called an object. So object is surrounded by curly braces with a key and value. Left side thing is called key, right side thing is called value. Okay, and the value can always be an object or array. For example, phone number, right? we have like two phone numbers for example, so you can define it inside an array. Array is nothing but which is enclosed within square brackets. Okay, this is one kind of what is JSON. It is kind of JavaScript object notation. It is kind of one format. In XML is another format. Excel CSV is another format we use. So whenever we are doing a data exchange, right, we use different formats, but the concept is always same because we are sharing the data. That's it. So this is one kind of a valid JSON. Now what we can do is, let me show you one example that where for the same example, right, for create account. Okay, what we have done for create account, you have defined query parameters, which is fine. Then you have defined the body, but you have given just an example. Okay, this is not validating any kind of example here. So first what I will do is I will remove this. I'll just remove everything here. Let's first define a body. Okay, just I'll type like application JSON for now and keep it as it is, but we have to define some schema for it so that there will be some validations done. For example, now you can see here, right, username, if you are not passing, it is doing some validation saying that you have to pass username. It is saying like required parameter username. But what if we are doing it for a body? Body is passed inside, isn't it? What you can do is how to create an external file for a data type. I'll show you. Click on plus icon here. Again, I'm teaching very basics of RAML, but you can learn many things from raml.org. Click on new file. Okay, it is asking to create. Don't just immediately go ahead and click on create. Okay, there are different API file types here. Okay, drop down, we have to use data type. Data type is like a schema. We are defining schema. For what you are defining schema, give some good name, like create account. That is what, create account request, and click on create. So automatically a new file is created. Okay, so this is data type. Again, this is not a syntax, you can remove it also, because hash is used for commenting. You can write anything like Shravan, anything. Okay, for now I'll leave it like this, but data type you can write here like this is first line, it will not allow to comment, but second line like this is code this is the code written by Shravan. You can write something like this. This is how you can use hash is used to define comments. Okay, now click on enter. First things first, you have to define what is the type here. Okay, so when you click on type, usually whenever if you remove this and click on enter, it should show in the suggestions. Okay, sometimes guys, some accounts will not show this immediately, so don't wait for it. If you are good at RAML, you can just start typing type here. Okay, but if it is showing the suggestions, you can always use this one. So I will define as type. What is the type? So I want to create something like here, account number. Okay, account number, I want it to be numeric 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, then I want some address, right? We have always address. In address, we always have like multiple address. So what I can do, one is like home, type equal, type equal to home, comma, just put some address, like city. For now I will give only city. Okay, city is Hyderabad, country India. Okay, now what I will do, because this is an array, which means it will have repeated values. The another one is, I'll just copy paste. This is office, I can say like New York, and I can say USA. Now I have to define a schema which should validate this kind of example. Okay, what I will do, I'll go here. So this, the outer part, whenever it is starting with curly braces, that is called object. So type object. If you see here, there is an object. Then click on enter. Immediately in each object, this is one property. If you minimize this, okay, this is one property and this is another property. We call it as properties. So you have to choose properties. This is the schemas. what is our first property? Our first property is account number, okay, colon space. You can always give space, sometimes in automatic thing will not give a space, space, and what is the value? It is always a number. Okay, so let's give this value as number. Okay, next enter. There is no need for you to give comma here because this is schema. If it is an example, you have to give comma and put it, but schema it is not required. So enter. Next, what is the parameter? That is address. So address colon again. So this is not a string or this is not a number, this is an array because it is having a square brackets. So for array you have to define array. Again click on enter. Okay, when we are defining an array, whatever values are present inside an array, those are called items. Okay, so this is one item, this is second item. Okay, this whole flower bracket or the curly braces are called items. So I will click on like, okay, it expired, but yeah, so click on enter. It should show items over here. If it is not showing, sometimes it doesn't show, it will take time, but I can define like items here, colon, enter. Again, each item is an object. So when I'm talking about object, again this is one property, this is one property. Now you have another object inside it. So this is one property, second property, and third property. So define like properties. Again here you can see this is outer properties, these are inner properties. Enter. Type. This will give error whenever using type. Type itself is a syntax, so I always suggest to use double quotes for types. Okay, type is a string. Let me go to string. Enter. What is the second one? City. So always best practice to give like within double quotes. City, let it be a string again, and the third one is country, that is a string as well. So now we have defined our data type. Now you can see whenever I am typing something, that is the beauty of RAML. It will show here. It is saying, hey, account number is a number and that is a required field. Address, it is an array. It is not showing within what is there in array. Okay, so you have to open it. Within items, you can see items.type, city, country, and all of them are required field. What if some fields you wanted to make it as optional field? Very simple. You can see now city is required here, right? I will just put a question mark over here. It will automatically say, like, you can give a space. Give me a second. Okay, you can see required field is gone here. Okay, if you just remove question mark, again it will say required. If you put question mark, it's an optional field. That means it is not required. I'll show you like here and there how to do that. So for now, let's keep city as optional. Now if you want to define some minimal kind of validation, for example like account number, you have to give a tab because you are putting everything in the inside account number. What you can do, like min, or give me a second, what can I keep? Okay, let's review about account number. For type, for type, let's say like we need only two kind of address, which is home and office. Okay, so those are like enum values. So what I'll try to do is I will try to use like type of address as enum values, like either it should be office or home. What I can do is, instead of like defining the other way, properties, just enter. So define some name to it. So it's like first one is type. Instead of type, I think best practice is to use best conventions. So type of address colon, just enter. Okay, now let's define like type as string. Okay, and we will say like enum. So enum, which means either home or work. Let me use work instead of office. You can see immediately that the type of address, it will allow only home or work. Okay, what is our next value? It is our city, so it should be in the type, this one, type of address line. Okay, that is city, and I can say like now what I can do, like define same like string, and I can do some minimum validations. I will say like minimum length should be like 3 characters and maximum length should not exceed like 10 characters, that is city. So these kind of minimum validations we can do it at RAML level itself. You don't even have to write code for it. It's very simple, right? RAML is very simple to do these kind of validations. Last one, I can put it like zip code. Okay, and you can define the type as number and click on enter. And if you have any format, you can define the format. And if like minimum value, you can define like 0000. Maximum value you can define 9999 if there are any kind of validations. Okay, this is how you can define your JSON schema. Okay, so let me change this type. This is not type, so you have to change this name. So I have to use this type, this one, and this is like zip, and zip is now not a string anymore. So 0 1 2 3, you can use 1 2 3 4 9 9 9 9. Okay, so let's try to use this example for our purpose. Copy this. Now before using this, I have externalized these files. Okay, I have to use that in our main RAML here. How to use it? Here you can see output application JSON. This is response, forget about it, but body application JSON, enter. It will ask for type. Okay, here if you put exclamatory mark, it will give you the option. This is to exclude include the external files. Include, automatically it is showing my file because I have only one external file, so it is showing here. Now you can see if you click on post, it will give all the, it is giving the basic example also for you. Can you relate it like here? Okay, so items is like items, but if you define, you can define your example. Now click on enter. So put an example and just paste it. Can you see here? So automatically it is showing this example. So actually we don't need items over here. Give me a second. You can still mention items here. Let's go with the structure itself. So what I can do is like, if I remove this, okay, if you go to post, this is the structure. So for now I will go with like items. It should be an array. Usually it should be an array, but let me give this value as address. Okay, I know the reason why it is giving this. Address is an array. So what I will do is, this is the indentations. Let me check if, I think I have to do the rework again. So let me put this, remove this, put address. Okay, enter, type array, enter, items. You can paste all this. Okay, this should work. Now go back to your, save it and go back to your so this is your documentation. Go back to your RAML. It's required key zip. Okay, it is saying required key zip is not present. So let's see why it is not. Address should have zip. It is having zip. So let me remove this code. So this is how you can do trial and error. So click on post and see the structure. Now it looks good now. So what I can do is, it's saying like it is not okay, type of address, right? So let me check what is wrong with my previous one. Oops, so I have to go here. What did I use? So let me copy this same example, paste it here. Again, I can do this as well. Instead of giving my example here, I can create a new file, use like example here, click on example. For now, like create request example, click on this. Is more easier for me for the indentation. You can remove this, paste it. There is something wrong it is saying, but let's see if you can use it. You can go to your main RAML, again use the exclamatory mark, include, and now it will show you the example one here, and it will throw error and it will say address 1 should have a required property zip. Okay, type of address, because in the example instead of using this office, okay, work, this is like work, what else, because these are the validations that it is trying to do. Now it is saying address of 1 should have the required property zip. I believe I have, okay, did you see here I have used country here, that's why it is keep on giving error for me, saying that it should have zip. So this is kind of validation it is doing at the RAML level itself. Now you can see all errors are gone here, and if you go to our bank.api, if you click on post, it will give you the sample example here and you can try it out. So what you can do, you can try it out basic validations. Of course we have to give all these values, okay, because we gave all this. Now what you can do, instead of sending a number, I can send like string. What will happen, you see, send it and it says bad request, it is saying invalid schema, account number expected type is number but found string. So these kind of basic values. Next thing is like 1 2 3 4 5 6 big value, and it also says like address zip is not less than or equal to 9999. So these kind of basic validations are done for, you know, that can be done using RAML. So I know this is a lot for this session, but this is very fun way if you start doing hands-on. And now small validation, I have explained you how to do that, okay. And summary is like what is an API spec, what is design center, RAML, hands-on, everything I have discussed in this session. So please follow us on Apex Hours and follow us on MuleSoft-TechZone as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Okay, so as usual you can click on publish to exchange, and it will take a bit of time, but yeah, you can publish it to exchange and see what is there. Again, mock URL that I keep saying on here, okay. If you click on this setting icon and if you click on make it to public, you can use this particular icon anywhere externally. I will show you that in our next session. Okay, hope you like these sessions. We'll see you in the next session.